Welcome along, and we continue the series looking at the army lists of the classical period. And today we are going to have a look at the Spartan list, Spartan 221 to 146 BC. And I am going to just go straight in and add the Roman allies. The Roman allies are 280 to 220 BC. Why? Well, it's a no-brainer, really. When you look at the base army without the Romans, you only get access to essentially the pikes, Spartan pikes. You have up to 8, and you have the medium foot offensive spearmen up to 21. You don't have access to any of these Roman units, the veteran hastati, the hastati triarii, Italian foot. So this is the best choice from the beginning. There's no argument about it. The Roman allies give you just so much more. You get the veteran units, and these are very economical and well priced at 61 hastati. So we're going to start with the allies. And also, as a quick side note, I'm going to talk about this more. When I checked in this season's league, 6 divisions in classical, and in 3 of the divisions there was a Spartan army, and they were all with Roman allies. So what kind of army is this? Well, it's actually a very strong army. Firstly, you have your pikes, your Spartan pikes, but they're a little bit different from your regular pikes because they are above average, and this makes a big difference because pike units, as we all know, are large units, 950 men, a lot bigger than your regular, for example, swordsman Roman units, 490, 470, some of the medium foot. So, and then these kind of spearman units are really small, under 250. So they're already a large unit with the strength modifier, but then their quality is above average, so this makes them really strong. And there are only 6 more. Regular pike units are 72, Spartan pikes are 78. So these are really, I would say, one of the better units in the game, and certainly in the classical era. And we get 6 of them. So they're going to be tough to get through. And then on top of that, with the Roman allies, you've got access to 2 of the veteran hastati, and as I mentioned in another video on the Romans, these are essentially legionnaires, superior and armored impact foot. So the same as the later lists legionnaires, even though they're veteran hastati, they're to all intents and purposes legionnaires. And then you get the hastati, the regular ones, and to bulk out your army, if you've already got 6 Spartan pikes and 2 veteran hastati, just to add these in as well gives you a really strong army. You've got 6, 8, 11 really good heavy infantry units. And then as kind of the supporting cast, yes, you're going to have to be more careful with these units because they're medium foot, but they're offensive spear and protected. So against swordsmen, they're going to have a small advantage because of the 100 POA offensive spearmen. And these units as well, even though they're small, they're highly superior and armored. So these are also offensive spearmen. So they're going to be able to hold a position for quite a while, do well against cavalry, do well against most infantry for a good few turns at least before they start losing men and possibly becoming disrupted. So this is a really strong list. You've got even raw legionnaires, which in my opinion are one of the most reasonable and price efficient units around, because at 30, very cost effective. You know, they're impact foot and they're heavy infantry. So for 30, you're getting a lot for your money. And, you know, added in with the rest of the heavy infantry, head on infantry v infantry, there's not many armies that are going to be able to better this kind of army. Yes, you've got kind of the weakness that we see in all kind of Roman lists or armies that happen to have Roman allies. We've only got access to 3 armored cavalry units. So you're going to have to be careful, try to keep away from cavalry engagements until the last moment, protect your flanks, but you know, in a lot of these maps, classical era, like this map is fairly narrow. You know, you've got this small lake here, so you can, you know, kind of advance using this side, and you've got a few medium infantry units. You know, you could advance kind of here, and then you're not going to really get flanks. It's going to be difficult. You can maybe leave a unit or two, use this hill, cover the end of the lake, and it's going to be hard to flank. You've got forest here as well, so it's going to be hard to get cavalry around this side. And even this side is not so easy. Rough grounds, forest, there's a stream going right through the map. So it's not going to be easy to use cavalry advantage, which is great for this kind of list. You know, you could leave a couple of units in the forest covering this side. Use your spearmen. I'd probably even maybe put both my spearmen over here because there's more open ground here. I'd be happier of holding this side with just a few units. So very strong army. Regular hastati is strong. They're above average quality. So actually, in terms of your heavy infantry main line, they're all at least above average. You've got above average Spartan pikes, above average for the hastati, and then superior for the veteran hastati. Strong list. Spearmen superior, highly superior in fact. So it's really just these medium foot units and your raw legionnaires, but the main bulk of your army, quality is high. Skirmishers, you've got a fair choice. You've got 9. I've got 9, and the other advantage as well in this list is you've got a lot of the cheaper end skirmishers. So a lot of lists, they don't have access to all of these cheaper skirmishers, which just saves you money. So, you know, if I wanted to, I could bring 7 light javelin men and up to 3 slingers. Some players like the extra skirmishers, and you can do that. So you've got a bit of flexibility there. You know, you can bring up to 10 of the 24-point skirmisher units. So there's an advantage. And as well, you've got, you know, if you wanted to throw in just to bulk out the skirmishers, you've got access to the superior quality kind of, well, superior quality, but, you know, these are actually like light foot, but average protected, and they're the swordsmen. So they're better than your unprotected kind of regular skirmishers. They're kind of souped up skirmishers, and they can fight quite well and win in the 1-to-1 matchups with almost any skirmishers. So, you know, you can add them into the mix. When I also looked at the records, as I mentioned at the beginning, there are 3 players this season who used this list, and they were in Division A. It was Eric Doman won. In Division B, Oscarius, and in Division C, Dim 30, who I actually played. I was in Division C this season, and I got beaten by this army, so I know it quite well. But what's interesting is the records of all of these players. Eric, I think he won Division A with this army. He finished on 7 wins, 1 draw, and 1 defeat. Division B, Oscarius finished with 6 wins and 3 losses. And in Division C, Dim 30, he was a bit unlucky because Warg was so strong, but they actually finished on the same record, 8-1. But Warg had beaten him in the head-to-head, so even though they finished on the same record, Warg won the division. But that is a heck of a of a record. And if I, you know, when I totaled them up all together, when I totaled all up the 3 players together, that works out at 21 wins, 1 draw, and 4 losses. 21 wins, 1 draw, and 4 losses. So this army is very strong, very strong. And when I played Dim, it was just tough because, you know, when you've got so many good quality heavy infantry units, when you're up against them, more often than not, they've got an advantage. You might have, you know, some veterans yourself, but you're likely not to have so many. When you've got, you know, 6 above average pike units and 2 veteran pike, and then Stati as well, it's just really tough. Most armies are just not going to have an advantage there. Yes, you might have advantage against the medium foot, but then, you know, if you're clever, you can keep these in reserve. You can hide them behind the main line. You can use the terrain to your advantage. In most maps, there's rough ground, there's streams, so sometimes it's hard to gain advantage against these kind of troops. Hide your cavalry. Yeah, it's just a very strong list. You've got, as I said, a lot of skirmishers. So in the right hands, and then as has been borne out by the league results this season, this list is very tough. Very tough. My rating, maybe going by the results this season, going by my experience going up against this army, looking at what kind of units you can field, I think I'm going to give it maybe an A-. The minus would be for not having, a few more cavalry units and better cavalry. But skirmishers can hold their own, and you've even got a few swordsman skirmishers, so that's great. You've got medium infantry, so if there's rough ground, you can hold it. It's just a good list. A-, I think is well justified. Okay. Thank you for watching, and see you again.